Asham Yahava Shalom Barak. In the name of our Father, peace and blessings. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessing, and mercy be upon everyone who catches this message. It's time for a party. I'm going to play our music for a little while, invite some people in, and then we can get started. Shalom to you. I see you just stepped in the room. Our love. Vanessa Cody. Shalom. Hashem Yahava. Shalom Barak to you. In the name of our Father, peace and blessings. Thank you for joining in on the party. Give me a minute. We're about to start up. Matt Bear. Hashem Yahava. Shalom Alaikum. Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the name of our Father, send you peace, blessings, and mercy. We're about to get started on this party. Got a few more shares to send out. Y'all know how it is. Windows are open, so yeah, you're going to hear some grass getting cut and everything. We're about to have a party. User 75612839. Number one. Miss Kindhearted. Reginald Horton. Hashem Yahava. Shalom Barak to you. In the name of our Father, peace and blessings. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessing, and mercy be upon you. That goes to you, your families, and your circles. Tulo somebody. Farida Sadiq. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bienvenuto. Welcome. Come on, come on. We get together at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about entrepreneurship and service in your community. We have 10 different special interest groups that we speak about. Each of them actually have their own specific day. Then on Sundays, we have a Q&A session. We get together Sunday through Friday. Yesterday was Sabbath for some, and I take that day off so that other people can deliver their message, and I'm back taking notes. Now, that's really on a daily basis. I check in with my people to see what they're talking about, and I take notes because we're all supposed to be dipping in and catching knowledge every day. Get into the scrolls. If you got 24 hours in a day, what are you doing for 2 hours? What are you doing for the first 2 hours of your day? What are you doing for the first 10 seconds when you first gain consciousness? We come from our Father. we shall return to our Father. And may our Father be pleased when we return. Amin. Selah Asher. Today is going to be a question and answer period. However, there is a pop quiz. The real Crashy K. Weezer. Graham 0624. Von Burks Black. Charlie says. CC. Hashem Yahweh. Shalom Abarati. In our Father's name. Peace and blessings upon you. Always good, Sava. Francis Austin. Shalom Abarat to all of you. Normally when we get together, there's a few different things we discuss. I've been sent on a mission. I'm here to remind everyone about the day of Asher. So we have to go into our studies to find out what developed after the day of Asher, the reason why the day of Asher should be remembered, and how things led up to get to the day of Asher. I spent the last week or two discussing lineage from Surah in the Quran. Ancestor Planet, Sun Man, www.Noon Temple, Some Guy 37, Alistair, Shalom Barak to you all. So there's a few things that I want to talk about. And then after I get through talking, I will open the floor for, at any point in time, you all can ask questions. However, at the end of it, I am going to allow for some to come up in the live and actually speak. And I'm going to let you know right now, it's only going to be trusted individuals. It's not going to be just some random person. All right. So like I was saying, last week or two, we've gone through lineage. Who's this? Alistair all up in the live. Ta-da. Thank you for the love. Blue Star. Shalom Barak to you. There's a lot of questions in the air concerning who's a certified priest. What are we really supposed to be following? And what's really going on? I'm here to tell you right now, if you come here asking me questions about war, I got a few different scriptures to tell you that I have no concern with war. Unless it's coming directly to me or my loved ones, or it's affecting Islam being built, unless it's affecting Yahweh Elohim's kingdom being built, I don't care. Why? You see those flags with all the different colors and whatever they represent? On the 8th day, there was no proclamation of let there be flags. On the 8th day, there was no proclamation of having any other leader outside of Yahweh Elohim. Today is a pop quiz. You're getting the answers ahead of time, so you better get ready. Take notes.
Fresh off the bird of the hook H town. Straight to the hood in the 10 town. Lean back, turn the corners to that hometown sound. You'll get fun up on the horn, see if you want to get down. Take a ride with these vets on the swing back. Removing the cataracts, cause people still blind to the facts. Don't want to take it back, let's move forward. Mainstream outlaw, I regulate the swords and the straps up. Real priest, I ruin the tracks up. My congregation's thick with soldiers who don't have to get their flag up. Slack ups, they stack up good living. But all we've been given is hustle views and views of our women. Hindsight to selling out. You don't have to look far for what I'm talking about.
It's asking me to reply to predecessor. I don't know what you're asking me. My screen will go back to where it was, though. I'll show you just what I see in my eyes. Be right back. My screen's going crazy. Y'all don't go nowhere. I'll show you just what I see in my eyes.
I got ghetto respect. OG up in the hood, I keep the ghetto in check. Point out when the man is showing ghetto. Your big on the ghetto with the government don't cause the government can't come on the government won't. I'm still in the hood. You know I gotta keep it trill in the hood. So I like to see a real in the hood. Dripping wood, grain, wheel in the hood. Let me take you on a tour in the corner.
I'm not trying to report any comments. I didn't even see what it was. Get off of my screen. Here we go. Yeah, it's time to leave America. Hashem Yahweh. Shalom Barak. In the name of our Father, peace and blessings. Brett Vickers, Jane Doe, Junior Paul, the predecessor. Nobody. Allah. Shout out to all of you. Allahu assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, blessing, and mercy be upon you. Joanne. Today, peace and blessings be upon you too. McGon Williams, Spencer. Some we found out about lineage. IMRAN. Imran means sheriff. James White. Shalom Barati. There was a prophet named Musa. Allahu alayhi salam. Father's peace and mercy be upon you. Father's peace and mercy be upon all prophets before and after him. So there was this prophet named Musa. He had a sister named Miriam. Her father's name was Imran. Then we dig a little deeper. It's a prophet named Yahya. His father's name was Zechariah. He was of the order of the Levites. And he had a cousin. And his cousin, his name was Imran. Now that particular Imran had a daughter whose name was Mariam, who had a son, and his name was Yahashua. And they were told this is going to be Hamashiach. We learned about lineage. People try to call us prejudice. I know they know the truth. They call us battlers, the great warriors, nomadic radicals. But with their hands they can't be dished to full of bits. Governments that taste the beast the sense. I heard you off gangster, ultimate gangster, daytime shooter, nighttime gangster, the phone tapper, just a little dapper so you think. My color's blacker than his pink. The seven for barrels and travels, the narrows and all that are such. See me at the crossroad and strut. I'm quite logical, but never been a savage. Ain't scientific, but I never have to map it. I'm harder than the diamond that the eater might steal. I've never met the cool divinity. Tony Dakota Alex. Father's peace and blessings be upon you. If you happen to be Lakota, okay. It's water. So here we go again, another brother verse back into time on the banks of Nile, writing on papyrus, reading the dial. Look into the sky. Tamond, Mike's 380, Yareli, KGJS DJ, Akhdaba. Hashem Yahava Shalom Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Many much love and respect. Brittany Hingle, Anthony Stanley, Simplicity, James White. We learned about lineage, and then we go into study of application. Because some people ride on lineage like that's really what's going to get you there. People have inheritance confused. Now, I want y'all to understand something. I have a leader. I have a Kahalet. And he's been teaching about the lineage through the scroll about Rashayat since the beginning of our year. Our year starts about 7 days before Passover. Our culture doesn't even say Jesus. We don't say ISIS or any of that because we're not on Zion. Not on that level. We're not Zionists, nor are we on Zeus. Running from a magic. I don't claim a whole lot of different groups. There's some things in these lyrics that I don't agree with. Yeah, today's a pop quiz. Because while we were going through that review of lineage, I also told you all some ground rules about how and why you should even approach me, let alone each other. Codes and codexes, right? Now, there's a reason why there's a pop quiz today. I'm going to let you know something. They say when the student is in need, the teacher will appear. The teacher also knows when you haven't been reading the chapters and you weren't prepared for the review. The teacher knows because you walk into class breaking all the rules. On the first day, you're told the rules. Everybody knows the rules. If you follow the rules, everybody gets along, and we can move forward. You break the rules, it starts a stumbling process. What if I told you G-O-D means guardian of dominion? Nothing else. Not a deity. What's a deity? You pick up a stick and call it a deity. Pick up a rock and call it a deity. Look at a cloud for 2 seconds and call it a deity, and then it changes. I'm a guardian of dominion. However, I don't call myself a god. I'm really weird. Some people call me odd. Matter of fact, Tom even called me Pan, Peter. Yeah, that small stone. Grab it out your pocket and throw down. Knock down a grown giant. Needed to anyway. Put that statue on recline. Break out a hammer and break it down. Smash it to pieces. Next time I hear that word, I'll probably throw up. Don't even say it. I walk under the authority of Yahweh Elohim. I'm guided by the wisdom of Ravak HaKadesh. Everything I needed to know about the flesh was already shown to me through Yahashua HaMashiach. Get back to the original. Yeah, today's a pop quiz. Who got their notebooks out? Through lineage, we found out that there was an order of Levites called the Zadok. That particular order of priests had one standout who spent time with King David and his son Solomon. That particular Zadok was the reason why the kingdom was still held in place while people conspired to pick it apart. Who got their pen and paper going? Get your scroll going. It's time for you to eat the scroll. It's time for you to feel how bitter it is. Sit back all this time waiting. What you waiting on? All my life, I've had to hurry up and wait. I'm tired of waiting. Espera, to wait and to want. Wait and want for what? The tar. The tar. There's another prophet named Ibrahim. After Ibrahim and the nation went about and destroyed several kingdoms that were polytheist, Ibrahim made a pact with Melchizedek. Zadok. You better have your pen going real busy right now. The order of the Melchizedek stood out amongst all of the different lineages and all the different practices because they refused to adopt anything extra outside of the standard that was taught by Adam. Who is Adam? Adam is the first representative of the standard of Yahweh Elohim. Until we get further notice, we are told that Adam was fashioned in order to teach the standards of Yahweh Elohim. It has been declared that the order of Melchizedek have been the only ones who actually held up that standard. No, we don't accept for you to bring something else along and say that that's part of it. No, you can go back where you came from. Don't need you here. Crystal, thanks for the follow. Chained by Truth, Rihanna Cummings, Hashem Yahweh, Shalom Barak. In the name of our Father, peace and blessings be upon you. Allahu assalamu alaikum. Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, blessing, and mercy be upon you, all of you, your families, and your circles. Steve Jones. You related to Mike? Steve Jones. Shalom. Bienvenido. Welcome to you. So this order of Levites called the Melchizedek were accepted because there was even a point in time. All right. So you've got Joseph, got Joshua, Moses, and Aaron. So that's Yashavai, Musa, Harun, and I think I forgot somebody. But either way, their practices is what led to how Levi was supposed to conduct himself and those thereafter. Because after Adam, there was this lineage. It was handed down. This is the culture. And if you're going to be the father or figurehead of a house, if you're going to be Aleph of the Beit, this is how we do. And you will learn this structure and you will live this structure throughout your life. You'll teach it to all of your progeny so that this lives. So that went from Adam all the way through to Methuselah, whose grandson was Noah. Nah. I like to say I speak nah. You come to me crazy, I'm going to tell you, nah. Take notes. Chief Ruler Jude. Shalom Barak. Noah had some sons. People want to fight about the sons. Shem, Ham, Japhet, and somebody else, right? Fighting about the sons. Fighting about inheritance. So I was taking notes last week, right? Because I was listening to Minister Stephen. Shout out, Bruder. Now, Minister Stephen speaks life. Look him up. You might not catch how it's spelled at first. Speaklyfe. He was talking about lineage. He was talking about the things that Nimrod was up to. See, there's always this thing, when people come to you and they say, oh, that's a scam. Now you come to them and only 3 words have come out of your mouth. You said 3 things about a plan that you have. Oh, that's a scam. Okay. Even scams start with a plan. It starts with a plan that's beneficial to everyone. Then it would be righteous. Helps everybody out. Everybody grows. We move forward. Righteous. All right, that's a plan. And then you start looking for ways to manipulate it to where you can get a better gain than the other person. Now we have what's called a scam. The initial plan is not always a scam. Do you know how many times I have to stop myself from saying, Cállate, shut up. I'm just trying to talk. I'm trying to deliver a message. Cállate. No, that's a scam, but what about this? But what about that? No, shut up. I don't want to hear what's in your head. I'm trying to tell you what's in mine. See, I got this Bluetooth download from the cosmos and I'm trying to share it with you. And the more you talk, the more it's stopping me from being able to work. Y'all still got your pens going? You still writing in your scrolls? You got this cipher? Because we just started. We were talking about lineage and humility. User 412181467006. Lester Stevens. Shalom Barak. Hashem Yahweh Elohim. Shalom Barak. In the name of our Father, our Creator. Tanisha Dejonet. It's a whole lot of a name. Allahu assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace and blessings and mercy be upon you. German Munter. 23? 31. Okay. It's around evening time. Every moment's a teaching moment. Are you all ready for this one? Guten Tag, German. You know how y'all are always talking about everything's good, all's good, all of that? Y'all want to say that your deity is good and good all the time? That comes from Guten Tag. Good evening to you, German Monter. You're a mountaineer, a mountain. I can get into reading and just walk away with it for about 45 minutes to an hour. Jane, Blossom and Bodie. Interesting. So we were talking about lineage, and Minister Stephen brought up the fact that Nimrod did not start out bad. He actually was following the standards. Now the thing is, there was this pass me down. And of all the pass me downs to want to keep, the original skins of Adam and his Isha, the skins they were given once they uncovered that they were uncovered because they went snooping somewhere they had no business. They broke the rules. Their stumble caused a stumble. So they were given these skins after they were wearing the leaves of vegetation. The skins would last longer. As a matter of fact, they were preserved for so long that it was passed down. A couple of generations. And at first, everything was all right because it was kept in the hands of those who were still practicing the original, the principal standard. And they were keeping the skins as just a reminder. See, if we do the standard, we can become covered the way that we're supposed to. Let y'all know something about the Muslima. There's actually a word for the covered ones. There's a surah called the covered ones. And it's not talking about having a hijab on and all of this and all of that. Your covering is your walk on the deen, your divine walk, your attempts to be closer with our Father, with our Creator. That makes you covered. So y'all don't understand. I was wearing turbans back when I was 16. A turban with a tweed wool trench coat. You understand me? And then a hoodie underneath that. Big baggy blue jeans. I keep a pair of steel toes. Right now, as Khaled would say, he's in his Moses 2s. Well, these are the Moses 12s. These are the Elijah 12s. You dig? I could jump out here and be super fly and look like my father. However, my mom's told me that the name that's on the birth certificate is not me. You know me as Brother TJ, and that is not a junior in there. No. No. It's the letter T and the letter J. That's it. And as I grew older and got in my studies and I found out J doesn't exist, and it was like, oh, snap. Like Young Soldier said right there, oh, snap. J doesn't exist either. So we got T. We got Tav, who's with me. So all the way up to Nuh, all the way up to Nah. Yeah, the scans were kept over there to the side, not necessary for anybody to use, because as long as you live the standard, you're given all the strength you need. Yahweh Elohim is my strength, is my redeemer. People arguing over Yahweh as opposed to Elohim. Which one should we use? One of them says it's our creator, our father. And this other one says Lord over all creation. All right, so our creator, our father, made everything. So everything belongs to our father. Hmm? Hmm? Yahweh Elohim, that covers all the territories. Now, see, the situation was they started calling their leaders in the flesh their lords, because their lords were claiming property. And so there's Adon, our Lord, Adon Abba, our Lord, our Father. He said, no, we're going to have Adonai and Adonai, and so on. Now, the thing is, they started wanting to incorporate the ability of saying that they were equal to our Creator. They should have the same treatment because they're right there in your face, providing everything that you're asking for. Why shouldn't they be given that? Because it didn't belong to them. That's why. Don't add anything. Don't take anything away. There is one Adon. There is one Lord over everything. There is one Elohim, Lord over creation. There is one Yahweh, the one who spoke Barashayat, At Arat, and so forth. It takes our Kalet to finish speaking that one. I'll tell you this much. When you hear somebody say, in the beginning, oh, there was a whole lot going on in Barashayat instead of just in beginning. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Barak, Akati Mariam. It's very Tabata to see you here. Teflon Sensei, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, mercy, and blessing will be upon both of you and everyone who is here at this party. We've been talking about lineage because we're doing a catch up. Today is Q&A, and there's going to be a pop quiz. I don't know what time it is right now. If anybody wants to give me an inkling on the time, we usually run 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think I started about 15, 20 minutes after. And I want to keep track because I want to open up the floor. There's a few things I want to say, and we'll keep on going. 4:55. All right. That'll work. We got an hour. So we were talking lineage, and we got all the way up to Nimrod because the skins got exchanged. They were taken. They were stolen. They weren't handed down along with the teachings. They were misappropriated. Anytime something gets misappropriated, it causes stumbling. Minister Stephen gave a very powerful message. One of the sons of Nah is one who grabbed the skins inappropriately and then passed it to one of his sons. You see, they thought that the skins would give them more power than what they would already have granted to them by Yahweh Elohim. That was an inheritance. See, in modern day society, people are so far off base, they think that one of their immediate family has to pass away in order for you to inherit something. I inherited my grandfather's teachings the moment I met him when I was 18 months old. I inherited it the moment I was conceived. My grandfather was a sharecropper. He retired a sharecropper. I inherited everything that my grandfather owned when I was conceived. See that grin on my face? My grandfather was the foreman as a sharecropper, meaning no matter who put their feet on the field, they had to answer to him. As a matter of fact, the family that he worked for, toiled for, they would come to him and call him Mr. Jake. What's going on here? What's going on there? Who did this? Who did that? Can we fix it? How long will that over there be a problem? Mr. Jake. Now, see, I know this because as soon as I learned how to walk, there was no tying me down. I went from out of the womb. Apparently, it was nighttime, I was told. The next day, it was lights and whatnot. And the birth process took less than an hour, I was told. Somewhere between that delivery moment up to about 6-7 months, somewhere in there I was crawling and cruising. You know how they say you put your little hands on the coffee table and just kind of scoot around and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I didn't spend a whole lot of time doing that. I'm gonna tell you something about me. I was 2 or 3 months old. Mom set me on the couch. Boop. TJ, don't move. She went to go get the Polaroid camera. She come back. I'm sitting there. 2-month-old TJ. All right, now 4 months later, she put me on the couch. Boop. TJ, don't move. She went to get the Kodak camera. Thirsty. Run to the kitchen. By the time she turned back around, I done already leaned over and the corner of my head touched the corner of the coffee table. I learned depth perception. After that, it was, if my feet ain't on the ground, I still need to be in control of wherever it is that I'm going. Got the stitches to prove it. This side or that side, one side. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Learn depth perception. So I didn't spend a lot of time cruising around the coffee table because I wanted to see what everybody else was doing. And I had been outside enough where I realized being in the house feels cramped. can't sit still in one space for too long. Drives me buggy. Pain is the best teacher. Con, young soldier, con. So, soon as I learned how to properly walk, and see, there were stairs. Lived in a row of houses, and they all had 2 stories above the ground and then a basement level. At one point, we were in the basement, and then we moved up to the regular level. However, you go up a stoop, some stairs, the stoop to get onto the porch platform to get to that first floor. So that's anywhere from 8 to 10 feet off the ground before you get to the first floor. So there was no little baby just crawling out the front door and going outside. No, I had to properly learn how to walk. I'm telling you all this for a reason. Because shortly after I got those stitches in my head at 6 months old and was cruising around, by 8 or 9 months, I could make my way down the stairs. 10, 11 months old, I'm walking down the street with my moms. They had got me one of those, the little things where you sit the baby in the little thing that's got the wheels on the bottom and they can kind of walk around and all that. Somebody slipped up and put one of those out in the yard. In the front of the house, the yard wasn't no wider than how far I can stretch out my arms now. So I'm nearly 6 feet tall. So 6 feet strip of grass, right? Then there's the sidewalk. And then there's a small patch of grass, and then curb, then the street. I'm describing to you the front porch of a house on the south side of Chicago. All right? I'm 2 blocks in from the actual elevated train line. And if I look through the chainmail fence, I can see down to where the interstate is. If I walk 2 blocks from the house to the edge of the block, if I turn and I walk down the alley, it's a half a block to be on the main strip. And then I walk about 10, 20 blocks that way, and I'm going to be real close to Halstead. Now, I know all this because we were doing this all the time, and I was being carried. Right? So someone had given me the little trainer where you can sit the child down and they can kind of scoop themselves around. How about I pick it up, walk across the grass, put it down on the sidewalk, start walking down the sidewalk. Then I realized this is holding me up. So I climbed out of it. Walked a little bit down the sidewalk. TJ, where you going? Leave that boy alone. He knows where he is. And yeah, they were right. So walk to the edge of the block, and there's a corner store. Across the street, and that's the stairs to the L train. Now I know, I can't go up them stairs. Number one, that's a lot of stairs. Number two, when we go traveling, if we're not walking, we'll walk to the bus stop and catch the bus. Or if we have to go across town, we go up the stairs to the platform, jump on the train. Been on the train. TJ don't go on the train by yourself. TJ don't go up these stairs by yourself. Okay. So I go to the corner, turn on my heels, about to head back to the house. Man who runs the corner store, he and his wife, they're peeking out the door. TJ, what you doing? Hi. Head on back down the block. There was no stopping me after that. I'm going to go where I want to go. And I'm not going to stay at the house for too long. Come on and go to sleep and eat. Why am I sharing that story with you? Because for the last 3.5, 4 years, I've been sitting still. I'm a nomad who's been sitting still. Now, not in the same place, but I've been sitting still, not going outside often, except for to go to the market and be back. I've been working. I've been working from home, developing different skills to be able to be the director of a telecommunications network, practicing, producing videos. When I grew up, they'd have these little shorts on, these little animated shorts that they called cartoons. Sometimes they were informational. Most of the times they caused brain rot. Nowadays, we can watch a 30-second short video, a 1-minute video, a 3-minute video, 5, up to 10-minute video. And it's very comparative to the cartoons that I've seen as a child, all the way up to the adult matters that those cartoons sometimes cover, up to animated movies that they would show in the 80s on HBO. What some would call a PG movie could easily have been an R-rated movie back then, trust me. Akko, Adshem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. My brother, it is Tabah to have you in this party. Many, many much love. Ta-da. Thank you for showing love. I've been sitting still. Last time I sat still, maybe 10, 11 years ago, started working with running a digital radio station for 3 months. I didn't report to anybody. It was 3P Rose Radio, 24/7 for 90 days. I could plug in whatever music was going to be played, whatever message was going to be played. First week. Now let me break something down for you. They'll give you a whole month as a template, and they say, here, you just go in and put what you want there instead of what we suggested. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give you this 90 days to see if you can attract a steady crowd. And if you do, we'll allow you to have this broadband frequency. You'll have your own digital radio. Wow, that's great. So I go in and I start seeing all these commercial artists who are top 10, top 100, whatever. The thing is, I didn't agree with their lyrics. I have this theory, this philosophy, this MO, this modus operandi, this homeologio that I share within familial piety. It goes a little something like this. If my grandma or my granddad can't listen to it, if uncle and auntie can't listen to it, mom and pops, nephew and niece, son and daughter, cousin can't listen to it, especially at the same time, then we can't play that. Ever. So nope, not that. Nope, not that. Nope, not that. Nope, 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 nope. Scratch. Nope, 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 nope. Even the commercials. Nope. Because they say, yeah, you can make your own commercials. No, 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 no. Y'all know that laptop that I show y'all every now and then, model from 1999 IBM. Between that and a laptop I bought in 2011, 2012. Yeah, around 2011, 2012. I held enough music to where I could go 2.5 to 3 weeks, 24/7, 21 days worth of material. Of course, not my own. Things I had bought, downloaded, and so forth. It would be appropriately sent back as royalties to, and that was part of it. This was an actual legitimate radio station. So the reason why I got into it was because that meant anyone who I knew who was an independent artist, musician, so on and so forth, if I played their music, it would be counted as a stream. Are you hearing me? The opportunity to launch a platform to empower those who need to be working interdependently because they're independent of major corporate labels. They don't want that. The opportunity to empower such individuals dropped into my hands. Boop, here you go. What are you going to do with it? I'm going to use it. Let's go. Now, here's the thing. Start taking off all those questionable artists, and my broadband started going into static. 2012, 13 years ago. I hope you have your pen and your paper. I hope you are writing out your cipher. I pray that you are being productive. Because yes, there will be a pop quiz. By the end of 3 months, I went from 30 people to 1 or 2 because they knew that I would be on, and they sweated through the static. If I had opted to buy in, I would have been permitted to move forward. Who remembers what was going on back in 2012 and 2013? Y'all think you're seeing some turmoil now. 3 terms ago, the same turmoil. According to mathematics, let me see something here. I've been alive long enough to see 12 terms. Of course, there wasn't 12 different presidents because some of them had a couple of terms. I've been alive long enough to see 12 terms. So when you come ask me about what I think about the president, I don't care. The president changes. What about what the president said? Well, that changes every time he gives a speech. Y'all hold on a second. They want to do the are you human or are you alien check. Is you is or is you ain't a cheeseburger and fries? Gave me this picture, yeah, that was something new. Is you is or is you ain't a cheeseburger and fries? My favorite name that I cannot pronounce. Miksharan Dasin. Et Sham Yahava Alahim. Shalom Barak. Our Father's peace and mercy and blessings be upon you. Allahu, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Starbucks, Sherry Bucks. Bienvenido. Thank you for joining the party. So no, I wasn't going to buy into something that was actually trying to shut me down. I was testing the waters. Because if they make something available, it means that, yeah, there's other ways to get at that. So from there, I started building up my portfolio. I wanted to make sure that I had things that could be registered and counted. Because, yeah, I had plenty of stuff, and I wasn't even playing my own music because it wouldn't have been counted in royalty streams. I wasn't going to use up that time. So I was offering to friends, hey, if you got an MP3, if you've got a WAV file, whatever you got, send it to me. Make sure you're registered. Let's get this on the airwaves. Guess how many responses I got? I'll wait. Zero. 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 Yo hablo en español un poquito. Just enough to get myself out of trouble, right? Chom. Yachasharayel. Come out of it. Why are you settling for what they tell you that you can do? When you wake up every day frustrated knowing that there's something else that you want to do, come out of it then. Stop bickering amongst each other. Stop being jealous because you see somebody raising up. Why is it that you look dirt poor, but you look happy as ever and you're going around just taking care of business? Well, who says I'm dirt poor? And dirt ain't poor. Trees, vegetables grow out of dirt. What you talking about? The message is supposed to be delivered. So 3P Rose Radio was put on hold. It wasn't ended. It was put on hold because Highside Studio needed to be developed as an actual label so that I could accumulate some album UPCs and get some individual track ISRCs. Everybody's arguing about whether or not you can go use somebody else's music without permission. Oh, all you got to do is say that it's a remix. Okay, well, there's things behind all of that. I wanted my ISRC so that it would be the original song that everybody heard. And see, behind that, there's an ISWC, the original writer's catalog number. There's an agreement between Brother Cole and I. There's an album that he has released, and he has quite a few in his portfolio that need to be released so that you all can hear the message. That music should be registered under his ISWC so that if anybody tries to use his tracks in any way, shape, or form, and they have their own ISRC on their album, it still will go back to him because he produced an album called For Yahweh, and it's got 8 tracks on it for you to meditate to, for you to pray to, for you to gain inspiration, for you to do work to. There's 8 tracks. For Yahweh. Come, Yahasharaya. How about you give support to someone who is among your number, who is giving you something to benefit your day? I can't listen to the radio because they do too much fussing and cussing. Okay, well, then you need to speak to your brother and get some music. As a matter of fact, Cold Before Diamond Productions is not the only musical group within our assembly. I hear Akhdavad has a son who's talented. I hear Time to Leave the Land is talented. Ak Craig, I hear he's very talented. Akita SJ, Akati, because Akita means she's here. Akati, pardon me, because yes, I was off in Espanol, so that's where my lingua was, right? So you didn't know this. In order to be an ambassador, you must be able to speak Esperanto. It doesn't mean that you are fluent in every language. It helps to be fluent in at least one, right? Well, you should be able to intermingle with people and still speak with them. So you're telling me our year starts about a week before Passover. Then we wait about 50 days to observe the fact that if we all get together, we can still be speaking, saying the same thing, even though it might sound different from different tongues. Selah. I was sent on a mission, and the mission is to remind everyone about the day of Asher. The day of Asher is the day after Passover. I was doing my studyings, and there's a certain school that says that the day of Asher is the day after Pentecost. What's wrong with that picture? So let's get back to it was the day of Passover, and then there's the day of Asher. Because when Musa guided the children of Yahashrael out of Kemet, that was Passover. So the day after was when Musa and the children of Yahashrael were able to pass through the Sea of Reeds safely. And then by the time Pharaoh, came along with his group, they got drowned in the middle of the Sea of Reeds as the water became back where it had been split. It became whole again. That's the day of Asher. Prophet Ibrahim met with Melchizedek right after he defeated a whole bunch of kingdoms. The day he met with Melchizedek, that was the day of Asher. Yahshua HaMashiach got swept up overnight, beaten throughout the day, placed up on a piece of wood with two others. When his spirit left his flesh, the earth cried out. That next day, that's the day of Asher. Now, here's the thing. If I start reciting a psalm to you, more than likely you can finish the psalm off. All right. Now, that's one of the things that Kahalet teaches. I can start off a psalm and you can finish it, right? How about I start walking the psalm? Can you finish the walk with me? Because Adam was taught, and of course he taught his Isha. I'm not putting no blame on his Isha because his Isha came from the same as him. So when she came back with something new, it wasn't on just her. That's why Yahweh Elohim said, okay, both of you are going to have to go fast for 40 days, not 30. You go stand over in that river, Adam, and wife of Adam, you go stand over in that river, separate from him, and you shall fast. And the only thing you shall be able to eat is what is near the shoreline, because you can't come up out of the water for 40 days. Why? It was a cleansing process. So Adam was about his business, and he was out there, and he was chanting psalms and everything else, and fasting away. Lord forgive me. And up walks his Isha. I greet you with our Father's peace. I have to ask you, though, why aren't you in the river fasting? Oh, I was told that it was okay. And I was told we could have these other foods to eat. Well, hold on. We just went through this. Who told you? Oh, it was that same old such and one. Yeah. That's going to cost us, right? I'm with you. It's going to cost us. So let's, come on. We got to go find Ravak HaKadesh. We got to go find Yahweh Elohim. We got to go find Adon. What have you done to us? Go pick up your Apocrypha and check out the book of Adam and his wife. If you got questions concerning what it says in Barashayat, if that's not enough for you, go pick up the Apocrypha. You might learn something. Without blemish, whatever. There is no playing the blame game. Since we are made of flesh itself, we are not expected to be perfect from jump. We are expected to work towards perfection. That's what makes us perfect. Be perfect within yourself. Strive to be excellent every day. Not just on pep rally day. Every day. Then pep rally day becomes every day. Then we're getting somewhere. But for right now, calm your Hashrael. Come out of it. Chazan. Rejoice. Why should you be rejoicing? Because if you have your handy dandy pen and your notepad with you right now and you're writing things down and you are producing your scroll, I want you to know something. Part of my style, I used to walk around with one of my pants legs would be rolled up, cuffed up, and pulled up above my calf. Wasn't for me to show off my leg. See, the other side would be down though. But why'd you do that? Got a perfectly good pants leg over there. Why'd you do that? If you're gonna do that and that's your style, why didn't you just cut the leg off? No. You see, one foot was in the water and the other foot was on the ground. And when I would open up my mouth, scrolls would come out. And there would be people that would look at me perplexed. Like, why did you give me vinegar? I asked for honey. Well, I bet you did. I wasn't sent here to feed you some honey. You need some vinegar. Apple cider vinegar, as a matter of fact. So back in 2012, when I learned it was possible, I started planning, building, so that I could produce a complete digital telecommunications platform. Not just radio, not just a couple little sound cards. I wanted to be able to show pictures and moving pictures. I wanted to be able to show just a still shot frame, landscape or somebody putting out some text over a color or whatever background. I want that. Short videos, long videos. If you have enough content together in a sequence, 45 minutes is a short film. If you complete a short film that is worthy of note, you can add it into the short film festivals. And once they get into the festivals, they are analoged into the catalogs of society. And the whole time, we can be showcasing our work from the platform that is built from our people fighting over the chance to be able to go live on TikTok and YouTube and so on and so forth, and still not able to even say what you really want to say. Anybody know what time it is? I want to give time for the people. Hilla Branch 2.0. Senior name. I was invited to do a duet or a stitch, or at least respond to a comment. Your name was involved. Hashem Yahava Shalom Barak. Path of Sarah. Vuki. The end they love to hate. East Coast to work. Any time zone, but just be specific. East Coast. I'm looking for 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to see where my cutoff is. I mean, we can go for a while, but I don't want to just sit here and talk, and I want some people to be able to talk to. And by the way, thank you for asking. Allahu assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I happen to be Nagus. I'm king. They call me Malachi. Maliki. Awesome. Tada. Shukran. So, with that being said, we got about 30 minutes. We were talking about lineage, and I've just told you all who I am and how I walk. When I was 16 years old, I was walking away from Baptist Church. I was taught by Mr. Jake starting at 18 months old. This is true. However, he was not in my life every day. See him every 2 or 3 weeks. We go and travel to visit with him on the weekends. And that wasn't our always steady thing. I have an uncle who stayed in the same city. My mother's the baby of the family, and my uncle's a couple years older than her. We go spend time with him. Met my uncle, 18 months old. And I'd seen some of my cousins. I had even seen my actual biological father. My biological father, let's say, you've heard of people who have this color neck. Well, I have this color neck. Understand the difference? My father, my biological father. So it would take my mom to let you know that my facial features are actually him. I'm just not in his complexion. However, a stranger who knows someone in my maternal side of the family would say, well, that's just Jake all over again. Or don't he remind you of 7, 11, 18, 12 different brothers? Right? Because the genes are strong. The genes are strong enough to where, as strong in the spirit as my family is, there's a lot of doubters. I'll say no more. Like I said before, I am that small stone carried around with three more in Davad's pocket. Yeah, I am that small stone. Why? My uncle's name was Peter, and I was born a Thomas. Are y'all getting all this? As my mom would say, I'm not doing this for my health. Doing it for your health. Somewhat for mine. Because when you pray, it doesn't make Yahweh Elohim stronger. It makes you stronger. And the first lesson that my grandfather taught me was, in order to pray, you think, then you say, and then you act upon it. So the question is still out there. If I start Psalms, or can you finish it with me? Can you take the whole walk? Hashem Shalom Barak, man trucker. Allahu assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You know, you got the hawk up in the sky. Not sure where you are. I don't know where you are on your 1020, but I'm on the sky, my man. And you just reminded me of something. Because, yeah, today's a pop quiz. I got a real short story for you, and then we're going to open the floor. I may have told you all about the time I met the three abbots. It's not something made up. I was married. My wife was carrying our first son. And I was invited to go witness a Kung Fu instructor become a master because he had taught 5 individuals the separate 5 animal styles. And he was going to be visited by Shaolin monks who were going to make sure that they were practicing properly. And then afterwards, we were going to be invited to the Tibetan temple to visit with the abbots. My brother Jarvis attained the title of Tiger Master. It's me, my wife, um, her son, 4 or 5 years old at the time. He was about 5. He was going on 5. He was 5 because it was after his birthday. It was after his born day. It was in the fall. He's Leo. I'm telling you that because the same 12 cycles, there's a calendar that starts with Aries that follows the 12 cycles. It's not about reading a horoscope to say, oh, my day is going to be like this. No. Before Greco-Roman calendar, there was the zodiac calendar. And if you go to Farsi, if you go to Persia, that is the recognized calendar. Now, where it says Aries, it's also going to say Favardim is the first month. And I like that calendar because in that calendar is Asher. In that calendar is Day, D-E-Y. Y'all still taking notes? You have to get a solar, astral, lunar calendar. You don't just count the months by the moon phases. You don't just count the cycles around the sun. You have to observe what the stars are doing in the sky according to what the sun is doing, according to what the moon is doing in rotation, because all of them are actually off kilter. Man's concept of time is locked into what's going on Earth. There is a whole other creation going on that man did not create, that did not put into balance. So man cannot decipher how to actually project time in that manner, let alone say how the celestial bodies were set into balance. I laugh a lot when people come with preposterous quandaries. I am an imam. What's an imam? The person in a household who has the most knowledge of the Quran and says daily prayer. This house and pretty much every house I go to, I'm the imam. I don't walk around with my chest puffed out because it also means I have to walk according to those words. And there's a lot to those words. Say this one piece, and we're going to open the floor because that's going to be the pop quiz. So be prepared. I open this up saying there are rules that are stated at the beginning of a class, and those rules are supposed to be followed all the way through. So we get set standards. And if someone suspects that something has been added on or taken away, that means that that is not the standard anymore. And we are supposed to do our best to know the standard, not the loopholes, not the ifs, ands, ors, and the buts and everything else. And no, know the standards, not the outside looking in, because you're in. I broke 2 of my rules in the last 40 hours. 1, don't stitch or duet with anyone who you don't know who exactly they are, if they're not part of your circle, or if you don't know where the proceeds will go. I broke my rule twice. I had to. Because something outside of the standard was presented to me, and then I was asked, what is my reflection on it? You know, there's a standard that we're supposed to not work at all on Shabbat. People can't even figure out when Shabbat is because, well, now we got to figure this in, out, and that because, you know, after you count up the moon phases, is only this amount, but then there's a whole nother 30 days to make 365. So what do we do with that? And One standard. Yahweh Elohim is to be worshipped and served all day, every day. We're supposed to walk by the guidance of Ravat HaKodesh all day, every day. We're supposed to do our best to walk like Yahashivai HaMashiach all day, every day. And you see, there's the Yom, what people call a period in a day. And then there's the day, which is actually 30 Yom. So let me repeat what I said to you. I want to make sure you got this before you put a name on the Yom, or before you put a name on a span of 30 days. Your waking hour is supposed to be worshiping and serving Yahweh Elohim. If you want to put a name on that period of time just to help you out, whatever. When you wake up, when you open your eyes and you greet the reality that we all share, we come from Allah. We shall return to Allah. May Allah be pleased when we return. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ameen. All praises to our source of sustenance and mercy. Ameen. I agree. Selah. Stop. Make some changes and think about it. Or stop. Think about it. Make some changes. Ashe. So be it. Usubillahi minashaitan ar-rajim. We ask our Father for protection against shaitan and the evil ways as we walk the divine path. Excuse me. Basmillahi ar-Rahmani ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmani ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina sirata al-mustaqim. Surata al-Ladina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim walad Darleen. Ameen. Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. When I was 16 years old, and this book right here was handed to me, first thing I wanted to learn was exactly how he was praying. When he was enlightened, I wanted to say what he could say. When he looked around himself and saw every color that you could conceive of. When he had to go back and reevaluate, what is Iman? I-M-A-A-N. What is faith? What is Salah? What is prayer? What is Zakat? What is charity? What is Islam? What is it to be a Muslim? Because he had come from a background where all the mannerisms that these people were doing here, no, that was not at mosque number so-and-so and so-and-so. They didn't do that in the urban areas of so-and-so and so-and-so. So he had to reevaluate. And when I saw that, you see, because I grew up around spoilers. They didn't spoil me. They kept telling me about the stuff that was happening and was going to happen because I was coming in asking questions. And so they just spoiled it for me. I'm coming in asking questions while the news is on. What's the difference between this and when we watch a movie? Oh, TJ, this is real. But they have people on the news on Godzilla and King Kong. They didn't know that's not real. This is really happening on WGN. That's real. Okay. Is this one? No, that's a movie. Is this one? Yeah, it's 6 o'clock. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock. Is that when? Yeah, you see those people? They just standing and they're sitting in the two chairs and they're just talking back and forth. We're getting news then. That's up to 18 months. Then we leave Chicago and we go traveling. And I meet Mr. Jake. Mr. Jake has a limited playlist for TV. There's the news, golf, tennis, Bob Ross, and an occasional late night movie after dinner. Mr. Jake, why you watch the news? Like to know what's going on in the world. Mr. Jake, why you watch golf? Look at the grass. Mr. Jake, why you watch tennis? Used to be a brother that played tennis, couldn't nobody beat. Mr. Jake, why you watch Bob Ross? Nice sounds in the background. Urban Royalty ATL. Hashem Yahweh Elohim. Shalom Barak. Our Father's peace and blessings be upon you. Mike Lowry. Minister La Crystal Yahawada. Hashem Yahweh Elohim. Shalom Barak. Allahu assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's very barak for you to be here. It's a blessing. Tada. Thank you for your presence. So, what's the pop quiz? A teacher knows when someone isn't paying attention. A teacher knows when you haven't been doing the assignments. There was a big blow up a while back concerning a young lady saying she was clowned on because she didn't know what a catalytic converter was. I knew what a catalytic converter was in the 10th grade because my homie had a Ford Escort and the catalytic converter was going out. We would stall out quite often just riding around town. Got to replace the catalytic converter. But all we'd ever do is just stop and pull over and chill for a second. He'd go close the hood. It would fire up. But we don't really need to replace the catalytic converter if we can still get from A to B. Oh, by the way, though, where is it and what is it? What does it do? It's got something to do with the exhaust. Next year, I'm going to shop class, and shop class will replace my parts as I work on them. That's what's up. For those of you who didn't go to shop class, there was also a technical school that you could go to. Most of the time, it was basically an alternative school. But there was also a technical school you could go to outside of public school. Because no, there is no mechanical engineering textbook for first through 12th grade on how to work with combustion engines. It's a skill, it's a trade. It requires someone with some know-how. If you go and talk to a doctor and they give you whatever they tell you is going on with your prescription, do you ride with that or do you go and find someone else? Especially if they're being rude to you. Do you come back and complain to the world because the doctor was being rude, or do you go find a doctor that's actually going to be of service? Number one. So as all of that was going on, I was thinking to myself, because I'm sure you can tell, I'm from the hood, right? So there's shade trees who know a little bit about this and a little bit about that. I mean, I'll tell you, I can pretty much do everything except for pull an engine out and do a full overhaul of the engine. Anything that's replaceable on the face of the engine, on the body of the engine, I got you, right? I have not broken down the engine and rebuilt it yet. That's one thing I haven't done. Mess with the throttle body, all of that. Did all of that. When I run into issues, I go and I ask somebody who knows something. Being from the hood, yes, I've seen both guys and girls drive around and destroy their vehicles for no maintenance. Simple things. Change the oil, change the spark plugs, change the wires. You keep needing jump offs. Well, after you done bought 18 batteries, how about buy an alternator? You keep hearing the squealing going on, replace the belt. You know all that screeching is going on every time you try to stop? Replace your brakes. Check your tires. You know what I mean? Beyond just putting some gas in. Now, these are things that we're all supposed to be taught. These are things that you're supposed to know before you get behind the wheel and turn the ignition. To be honest with you, so that you can respect that machine that you're going to be dealing with. I'm from the hood. There is someone somewhere around there that knows how to work on things and will shoot it to you straight. And then if you go 2 blocks up from that person's house, you're going to meet a very rude person who runs a shop and will tell you to get on gone, which is the reason why you turn on your heels, knock the dust back onto that doormat, and go about your way. Bringing all this up because I had to break my rule twice today in the last 40 hours. I won't even call it 48. It wasn't a full 2 days. We'll just call it 40 hours. Well, what do you think about this? All right. Since we're going through lineage, we're talking about a story that can go back 8 to 20,000 years ago. Number one, we're starting there. I don't care what happened in 1400. I don't care what happened in 1940. I don't care what happened in 2024. Because we're talking about when the story started. Now, some people have been manipulating the calendar, so now we got to go to the year 0 or around the year 200 to count where Yahweh HaMashiach was here. That's the time span. How were the people acting during the time you had all these people who were actually of the lineage, who were actually doing the standard? How many people were actually going along with that? All the way up to the point of Yahshua HaMashiach having the nails put in them, the valves going to the Tav. How many people were acting right and righteously at that moment? On the day of Asher, after he was taken down from the cross, that next day, how many people had some act right? So when you want to start trying to tell me about, oh, so and so went and invaded some land at this time and did this and that, little homie, you were about 4,000 years too late. Yahushavai Hamashiach was trying to tell them, don't come to me crying about what the Romans are doing to you. Look at what you're doing to yourselves. Yeah, get your pen and your scrolls and get busy. Look at what you're doing to yourselves because you're not following the standard. Got a group of people over here that just was able to eat because we all came together under one accord, speaking the same logic, the same confession. We had to leave your so-called organized city and your society and your ways so that we could remember the standards of the principle. And yeah, like I said, today is Sunday. I don't know who else has got plans or anything else, but I'm about to open this up and I'm gonna let you all talk as much as you want. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna put in my Bluetooth so I can hear what's being said because my speaker is a wreck on my phone. Actually, I can plug it up to the Bluetooth, but then I don't want it echoing in y'all's ears. So I'm gonna put my earpods in. I pray that you all were paying attention because we've only just started this journey. We've got a long way to go. Many much love and respect to everybody. Much love. Yahweh Ahava. Yahweh Elohim is love. Ahava Ahava. Love is love. See someone somewhere and they need help, and you have something within you that can help them, immediately go help them. Don't wait for them to ask. Don't expect a thank you. You're not doing it for that. You are doing it to be of service in the kingdom of Yahweh Elohim. That is total compassion. If you went to a mechanic giving you the wrong information, if you went to another mechanic and they were rude, you went to a third mechanic who offered a fair price and didn't give you a whole roundabout, do you need to tell the world about the other two? Or do you just need to go and spread the word about the one who was righteous to you? You see, I know some mechanics too. I know some who can travel with heavy weight, whether they're loading it on their shoulders or pulling it with a wagon.
Straight from the temple of everlasting. Me, PX, and the X.
Let me grab my earphones.
Cleaning the baby. Hey, brother James, come for a ride. Put the key to the ignition. And then yes, blue. I come on to go. We're immortals through the I'm going backwards to the east, to the D, to the come. B5 comes to the travel on the road. I'm sitting on my temple, just fucking silly mortals. Making peace of mind to my many sons and daughters getting loose. As I release the beats, I'm more into the items because a simple mother bitch can never never hang with the words that ever cause the glamour. I'm singing raise the flag because I hate the spangled banner. Because you can't get with me, you label me enemy. They count us on the moral side, a label that's blasphemy. More than I am, plus the taste in the damn, plus the X in the clan, and plus the brother on land. It's like that, y'all. You don't stop, because the sight of the watch is short to shot. From the beginning is the winning is an ever. Unearthly resistance forever. You think your deep-face system is clever? It's the simplistic endeavor. I checkmate, terminate, never late, contemplate. Mind state is never fake, hesitate to lose. No shoes ever do I kick around the boots. I simply drop a line that just speaks about the truth. Then I lay just flavor. Blackie from the clean on the boots. I simply drop a line that just speaks about the truth. Then I lay just flavor. Blackie from the clean, now a dream for the younger. When will the raver take rain? Is it a joke or something you can cook with?
Well, I'm thinking about it.
People hoping for the move.
Dumb say though.
Put your dead body in the suit. People hoping for the move.
Dumb say though.
Put your dead body in the suit and move. Don't need no hair, no sex, and no food. The tool is mine
To use.
Blackwood Road. Riding the crossroad. Brother J on the wheel. Sugar shaft in the back with crate Nefertiti. Yo, Jack.
Zoom.
Date's dark 00 and a circle degree.
Zoom.
Date's dark 00 and a circle degree. And the black boot to the pedal, pushing us to the full nine. Respect to you in blackness with a gangster lead. By the way, Vanguard, this is protected.
My apologies for the pause.
With the key, ignition.
All right. If anybody wants to come up and speak their mind, yeah, I'm back. I'm back like a bad cat on a pair of new curtains hanging in there. I'm back like a bad cat on a pair of new curtains hanging in there. If anybody like to come up though, I got the earpieces in. Turn the music down a little bit.
Return for Mecca, let's get it together. Yeah, shake a shaft, we got to keep it moving. Big soul, we got to keep it moving. X-Clan, we got to keep it moving. And the struggle, yo. I'm an example of street knowledge and conscious living. My techniques up and trying to get behind the blue ribbon. I yell about the rat race, expressing and tripping. Flip stealth with spotlights to master shadow living. I flip through the channels, doing cool singing living. It's strange in the sun, I'm on the diligent slipping. And you just get a snippet of the real to know this. No research here, no knowledge. It don't take a big 4-year college to learn what it takes to put paper in your wallet. Common sense, yo, act like you got it. Act like that nigga plastics for every human being on the market. Word to Horus with no last theme. But I swing like a hawk to protect the earth's king. Knowledge yourself must awaken. The stolen legacy is the one they keep taking. In the days till they keep it on terrorist packs. Fear for breakfast, keep kids on pro back. Why you doing that?
Going down the culture while you're doing that. Steven 17. Ta-da. Shukran. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. Why you doing that?
I want the segregation between us and our rights, between us and one nation. When the divided and split rod and babble, all over buildings like Solomon, it's like we're just standing still in the gravel. We're so confused and I travel before for freedom of speech. In silence when we don't spit them tatter. So many corporate monopoly chains, but at least it's the brain waves, the sound waves. And tell you when you get up for your birthday, get that ching and money ain't a thing. The repetition of negative data, cause it's back to steps. And the ways of the evolution no ladder. Savage on the platter, savage in the rap.
So what's the pop quiz? Where's your resume? Because you know, anybody who steps up and gets this open mic, their resume is ready. They're coming through telling you about how they're walking and what they're doing. Yeah, that's the pop quiz. Since everybody being shy, finish out my story about the three habits. So, went to see a kung fu instructor become a master because he had 5 disciples of his own. Each had learned their particular form of the animal style. So I was able to witness them as they went through their forms while being watched by Buddhist Shaolin monks to make sure that they were actually doing things correctly, all the way to at the end where each of them had to put out a candle using their form, their strike. The crane had to strike at a flame and make it go out. The tiger, the dragon, the snake, the mantis, and the monkey. That reminds me, we'll start on the studies tomorrow. Minister Stephen also brought up the elephants and the apes at the tower. There's a passage in the Quran. Be ye detested apes. And y'all already know what I do with elephants. There's elephants in the room. Homologio. You know when you're righteous, when it starts echoing. And even though you think it's a different language, it's actually telling you the same thing. It's when you know you're righteous. So after it was approved that these disciples had completed their studies and they were ready to actually be teachers themselves, the monks, we all got together and we had a little trash can. And they had brought along some fake paper. He put that in there and some other stuff. He put all of that in there, light it on fire, and he threw some firecrackers in there. Festival, celebration. Then we all went to the buffet. You better believe it. Then we went to the Tibetan compound. Now, when you pull up outside, all you can see is just these tall trunks of trees that have been lined up together to make a, I'm not playing with you, a 30-foot tall fence. I am not playing with you. I'll give it 20. A 20-foot tall fence, gate, whatever you want to call it, wall around at least 8 city blocks, right? 8 city blocks that way, 8 city blocks that way. When you go inside, it does not look like the area that we were in. It looks like we were transported to Tibet. One moment. Yeah, what's going on? I could be here in a few minutes. Bet that. Aki Ben is letting me know Scooter Cruise, time for another mission. So, yeah, I'll finish this story. Go inside of the Tibetan commune. It's cleared out. And there's gardens, there's buildings that look like they were built in Tibet. people running around doing their thing, wearing clothes as if they were still in Tibet, because as far as they were concerned, they were. Wherever you are is where you are, right? They take us to one of the major buildings. Everybody kicks their shoes off, go inside, walk all the way to the furthest side of the room. There's three men sitting in orange robes with wooden beads around their neck. Got their legs crossed. We come in. I forgot Master's name. I think it was Master Robert. I might have called him. I didn't want to call him Bob. He kept telling me to call him Bob, but I kept calling him Master Robert, right? Yeah. So we go in. He bows first. We all in turn bow. I went up there in a Dodge Caravan, right? I was driving. Uh, Mother of my children was sitting over in the other in the passenger seat. Saying that because we're not married anymore. uh, Very, very close brother of mine sitting behind me, Zuko, drummer in my band, and he knows Crane like I know Dragon, right? So, and there's my other brother, Coco. He hates it when I call him this, but what's his name from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Dang, what is his name? The dancing dude. I can't think of his name right now, but my bro hates it when I call him that. Dang, cousin something. Got Will Smith and then his cousin. Name slips my mind. Y'all know he does Perry Cuomo routines or whatever, right? So my homie hates it when I call him that because he's anything but that. But I'm a snarky kind of guy. He will turn around and put on the Smiths and listen to Morrissey and the Smiths and dare you to say that he's not gangster. You understand? And I'll do the same thing. So anyway. Then behind them is Caleb. That's my son's older brother. So all of us, plus Master Robert and his 5 students, we all come in because we have to pay respects. We all sit down. Everybody hunkers down and make sure that your feet are not pointed towards them because that's disrespect. Also, make sure while you're looking around, your feet are not pointed directly in anybody else's face either. Now, this is a key because now we're inside of this Buddhist temple. When you go to a mosque and everybody is sitting still after you're done with all your prayers and everything, same thing. You do your best to not blatantly just put your feet in somebody's face. It's considered rude. All right, so, and also, so there's a line of us guys, and then the mother of my sons had to sit behind us. So she sat back here with her son who was already with us. The homie was turning 5. And the reason why I went is because I wanted to make sure that I was properly aligned. You know, I've mentioned before, I don't necessarily go with all of the chakra zones and all that kind of stuff. There are energy zones in your body, and it does not line up in a straight line the way that your spinal cord is presented, because even your spinal cord has a curve in it. And then it's branching out in all these different places to go and serve purposes, right? So it's not even a straight line. So those diagrams that they show you, throw that out the door. This is your triple warmer. from this area, your esophagus, all the way down to where you expel out of your body. That's your triple warmer. You have air, you have the water of your blood and everything else, and then you have food causing heat in this zone. The heat measurement changes according to what's going on. Your heart has a lot of energy, so it is going to be shown, and it's not in the middle of your body, it's all centered to the right. Your lungs transport a lot of energy. Your veins and your arteries transport a lot of energy. That's why when you see one of those heat maps of a person, all of that's yellow. That's where all the heat is. The closer it gets to blue is where it's cool. This is a triple warmer. If you look up Chinese medicine, Asian medicine, this is the first go-to. They're going to look at your outer to see what's going on, check a couple things, see what your tongue look like, blah, blah, blah. But then they're going to ask you, how's your triple warmer working? What are you doing with that? What are you feeding yourself? How is your breathing going? How is your circulation going with you moving water through your body? That goes beyond your blood. It's how much water do you drink and how often are you actually going to the lavatory? It's very important. So I went there to make sure that I was actually lined up because, yes, it is true. I do have ability and skill and I practice. However, there was never anybody that sat there and said, TJ, did you do your 150 push-ups today? Nah. I go and I knock out 150 push-ups. 20 over here, 20 over there. Built up to where I could do 50 over here, 50 over there, 50 over there. TJ, did you make sure to not fight and to stop fights? Well, there was this time, and there was this other time. But yeah, most of the time. So I needed to make sure I was in proper alignment. So you got the main Abbott, he was in the middle. And there was one on the side of him. They all got their orange on, and they got their wooden beads. The one in the middle, he was kind of stern-faced, but he was welcoming at the same time, right? And then you had this one on this side. I promise you, this was 1999, 98. It was 98. Lil homie was 4 because he didn't turn 5 until Izzy was born. So Lil homie was 4. And this was, it was in the fall because she was only 2 or 3 months along. So this is 1998. People barely had cell phones back then, if I remember correctly. Yet, there's an Abbott in his orange robes and his wooden beads. And I promise you, he was playing Snake. He wasn't texting nobody. He wasn't receiving a phone call or nothing. He was actually sitting there playing Snake. I know because I had the same device. I didn't play Snake on it, but I happened to look up. And then I call him little homie because, he's my little son. Caleb's son. He wanted to tell everybody, hey, Malik, he's on the phone. He go, hold on. Hold on. We're going to talk about it later. And then the other one over here, he's real nonchalant. Real nonchalant. We'll talk about that later too. We witnessed a young monk who had been adopted into the order. He's 12 years old, got his head shaved, and he was also taking his vow of promises. So he's getting the dots on his head too. So all of that. And then another young monk came out. So there was a reason why the mother of my children had to sit that far back. She couldn't sit on the front row with us. It wasn't a male thing. It was, they had taken that vow of celibacy, those abbots. And back in 98, they was the age I am now, right? One more cycle around the sun, I'll be 50. Hello, y'all. So we're looking at some men who are between the ages of 30 and 50 years old. And they had taken their vow when they were 12 or maybe younger. So they could not be within proximity of women. They could control themselves enough. They weren't going to go crazy or nothing. But still, you get too close and there's still an intermingling of energy that can happen. Now, when you're disciplined, you know how to control your resonance. That's part of it. That's part of meditation. Same way they say, bring your energy down. That's your resonance. It's more than just being loud and being excited and over exaggerated with your movements. It's the energy that comes out of your triple warmer and out of your throne and out of the roots, your feet, out of your extremities. There's an extremity. So another young monk comes out and says, pardon me, excuse me. And he's speaking to the mother of my sons. May I say something to you? Yes, what is it? Now, this was going to be news for everybody else except for me and her. Nobody else knew. I can feel that you're pregnant. I am. You have a boy, and he's a very strong boy. He is. It's early, and he's already flipping around and everything. He knows we are where we are right now. And the young man said, I know. Will you please bring him back when he's grown? And she laughed. And his older brother laughed too. Son Caleb, he laughed too. Ha 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 ha. Because they were under the impression that was an invitation. Bring him in so they can get his hair cut and make him a monk. Ha ha ha. And so I spoke up. It's quite an honor, thank you. And we will do our best to do so. Well, as the phrase goes, life be lifing. However, it's not over. Same place still exists. And inshallah, when the time comes, by the will of our Father, we're going to take that trip. We're going to go visit them again. Because sure enough, when I was 16, I was told, you should have a son. This is what you're going to name him. When I was 22, the lady told me, I know the story. I will have your son. Whoa. 3-4 months later, you have a son. And he's strong. Hallelujah. Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, Shukranallah. All thanks and praises to our Father. Funny thing happened on the way to today. I was walking the divine path, and while I was doing so, nearly everybody that saw me said he sure walk funny. He got some peculiar ways about him. When I was 16, I was bound and determined. I learned how to pray like Malcolm X did. And see, my family gave me spoilers. They already told me what happened to him. And then my mama told me, boy, you are allergic to soap boxes. Okay. So I'm going to go and do all the things. I have to avoid soap boxes. And definitely keep my eye on the snakes. You know something? Yahweh Elohim knew exactly what he was doing when he gave birth to this Black Hawk. And I give thanks every day. With that being said, Scooter Crew has a mission today. I pray that all of you all are having an excellent day. I want to thank you all for spending this time. I had promised Davad that I was going to mention something about YouTube Studio. Get the app. First, we need you all to make sure that you have gone to YouTube, checked your profile, and make sure that you have set up a channel. Do this. And there is no hiding once you do. You're going to set up a channel so you can start broadcasting your message. The second you start doing all of that and developing your portfolio is the second we can all get this together. And I can show you all how we can actually make this telecommunications thing happen. This isn't Babylon. This is Atshem Yahweh Elohim. I asked for this when I was 6 years old. I asked for this when I was watching Sesame Street and noticed that, yeah, Mr. Jake like it, but he don't watch it. Many much love and respect to all of you. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you, your families, and your circles. Amitabha, Amitofo. I can tell you that's Chinese and Japanese because that's also part of my studies. And by the way, even though when I greeted the abbot, he knew exactly what I meant. I recognize the Buddha in you. However, I have my doubts. Not about you. Not about me. I have doubts about life. Your alignment looks fine to me. And that was it. You and your family are welcome to come back and visit anytime. Let that sink in. Janu. Hashem Yahava. Shalom Barak. Allahu assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Many much respect. It's very tabah to have you here. Although we're closing out. Till next time. The Scooter Crew is calling. Sha-na na na na. Sha-na na 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 na. Sha-na na na na. Da, 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 da. Robert Fearley, Warahmani, Washbani, Warfani, Warzukni, Wadini, Wafini. Allahu Akbar. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ameen. Our Father, great Rabbi, we ask for your strength and your mercy to cover us as we walk along the divine path. We ask for you to take note as we rise in stature. Help us to forgive others and teach us to forgive the way that you forgive us. Our Father is the greatest. All praises to our Father. Ameen Selassie.